Repeat. Count 7, 4, end.
When I put out the call asking you guys what kind of videos you wanted to see, a lot of you guys said do pistol videos, and I understand kind of what you want. You want to see the new semi-automatic clip feds. I don't have one of those. What I do have is this over here, an old school PGP. Now, even though the technology is way different between the new stuff and this, the basics of pistol play still apply, so that's basically what I'm talking about. So let's talk about using a pistol as a primary. There's a lot of pros, a lot of cons. Let's start with the negative first. The biggest con that you're going to run into is accuracy. And there's a lot of people who are saying, well, with my pistol I can shoot. Yes, I understand that because if you put a lot of practice in, you can do it. But for a lot of people just starting out, they're going to be holding the gun way out here and it's going to be very inaccurate. The reason is, and I'm exaggerating this for the camera, handshake. If you kind of want to get an idea of what I'm talking about, find an object, like a book or something like that. Well, actually, no, this is the internet. Nobody's got books out here. Find an object that weighs a couple of pounds, or maybe even like a soda can, and hold it out at full arm's length for about a good minute and a half. See how well you do. Now, there are ways to overcome this, obviously, and most of it's going to be good pistol shooting technique. If you go new school, you go old school, two hands in the gun is going to be a lot more accurate. But a lot of people, when they grab a pistol, the first thing they do is hold it at arm's length, and they just start shooting like this. Not a good idea. Second big disadvantage is obviously going to be volume of paint. Now, this particular gun can hold 10 rounds in the top tube, another 10 rounds on the back, so 20 rounds. Most of the clip feds are what, 7, 8 rounds at a time? Yeah, you're gonna be way outgunned. So there's gonna be a huge learning curve for a lot of people, and quite frankly, you're gonna get your butt handed to you several times as you're starting to learn pistol play. Technologically speaking, you're also gonna be running into a couple of problems over here. You might have noticed that in the barrel of this particular paintball gun, this thing right over here, this is an old school barrel plug, actually, an old benchmark. But most fields don't allow you to use barrel plugs anymore, so you have to find a barrel sock or something similar to put the paintball gun in so that it can be deemed safe. And come to think of it, holsters kind of have their own problems too, but they're minor by comparison, and it's actually kind of funny when you think about it. One problem with a belt holster like this one is as you're moving or running, your hand can hit the gun, your elbow can hit the gun. It can be kind of an annoyance. And thigh rigs, I love my thigh rig, it's a fantastic thing, but I've walked out with half of a lawn actually caught right in here when I was crawling through the weeds. Just something to be aware of. So with all of that out of the way, let's talk about all of the positives of running as a pistol as your main gun. Well, the biggest advantage you're going to have is mobility. We used to call it the wood nymph effect, because you go out and go play with your normal gun, and then at the end of the day, you grab this and go play with it, and you suddenly feel like, hey, I've got no weight on me, I can fly! Pistol play was almost made for stuff like CQB or close quarters. If you're going from building to building, or house to house, or doorway to doorway, this is better than anything that you can have, because you can just go around corners very quickly, very agile, very nimble. Plus, you have one other major advantage, and that is you can lose the gun if you need to. You can just put it back in its holster, use both hands, grab the flag, and go. And moving light and fast is actually one of the reasons I love this thigh rig, because I can put the paintball marker here, I've got 2 tubes of paint ready to go, I've got a couple of 12 grams ready to go. I don't need to be wearing anything else. I can just go out and go shoot people. And I'll also tell you, the funniest thing to do during a scenario game is walk on the field like this and have people look at you and go, dude, you forgot your gun. No, dude, I'm fine. I'm good with what I got on me. Oh, the confused looks you get. So let's bottom line. Let's put the graphic up in, oh man, that arrow left. Okay, I got a brand new stagnant arrow for this one, so bring the arrow in. I'm going to lean this one more towards the Tacticool side of things, because pistols are actually very useful. And I have seen many people using a semi-automatic clip-fed pistol as their main piece as they're going out on a speedball field, and not only hold their own, but excel on the field. The learning curve may be quite harsh, but the rewards can pretty much outweigh that. You just have to be willing to put in the time and dedication in order to learn how to effectively use a pistol in order to get all the maximum enjoyment out of it. That, and, well, let's face it, it's just cool. When you see somebody going out there with just a pistol and a couple of clips on them, kind of doing the whole man with no name kind of thing, standing out there in the open with their hands like this, awesome. And I do have to admit that this kind of rose more toward the Tacticool side of things, but one of my life goals, I want to get 2 TPX pistols and just run John Woo style. What I'm getting at here is, yes, this can actually look cool and actually be practical at the same time. One of the few things that actually can. Now, as far as things like how you rig your paintball gun, how to use a side holster, use a thigh holster, or I've seen people put it on their molly vests. Well, that starts getting into personal preference and some practicality issues. And before anybody gets mad at me for that, practicality issues. If you've got a pistol on a holster on the front of your vest, yes, from tactical aspect, it's very handy to just have it just pull and go. But from a paintball aspect, that's a very huge, hard target right here on the middle of your stomach. Yeah, it's probably going to get you more eliminated than actually be handy. I would actually recommend putting it here or putting it on the thigh or someplace that it's not going to be in center mass. But in all honesty, if it works over here for you better than it works on your thigh or on your hip, I have no problem with that. So yeah, this is kind of one of those tacticals of, yeah, this is actually working, guys. Wow, how'd that happen? And I just want to point this out for anybody who says that I'm taking this stuff way too seriously. This is the belt that I'm wearing when I do a lot of these videos. Yeah, life is too short to take everything seriously, guys.